Hello, everyone. I hope that you are having a lovely day wherever you are. I'm currently wearing my very proud puffin t-shirt. It's a funny story, this one, or it's probably not that funny, but it was funny to me at the moment. Um, One of my goals this year is to see puffins in real life. I don't know when, but at some stage I want to drive up, probably to like Northumberland. I think on the coast they get puffins. Also in Wales, in some places they get puffins. But basically, it's one of my goals this year. And then I ended up randomly getting given this T-shirt at Christmas, and I was like, "It's a sign." And then, yeah, that's the story, really. But no, I'm very excited. I'm definitely going to wear this T-shirt and go and see puffins at some stage this year. I probably need to look at when they arrive in the UK. I think they arrive. Do they? I don't even know. I don't know anything about puffins. Probably need to change that. Anyway, I wanted to come on today and basically just talk about my experience of neurally rewiring obsession with weight gain and the number and scales and all that stuff and what your body weight is, basically. And I wanted to share the fact that my experience is that you can fully neurally rewire obsession around your body weight and what that number is by completely disengaging with it. So I know that there are people who suggest that in order to come to terms with weight gain in recovery, you should be weighing yourself and that you should be seeing that number go up. And maybe that works for some people. I'm not here to sit and say you shouldn't be doing that. It didn't work for me. My experience was that even when I went and had blind weigh-ins, the whole process was just stressful, and I always came out with my eating disorder louder than when I went in. So I kind of quickly realised that actually that was not helping my recovery in any way, shape or form. And so as soon as, in terms of my doctor, as soon as she was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm happy to, not be doing this now," I got rid of the scales at home and completely was like, that's it, I'm not weighing myself at all. And there was a little part of me, that went on for years. I think it probably was about maybe 5 or, I'm trying to think, probably my whole majority of my recovery, so like nearly 7 years maybe, where I just didn't weigh myself at all. And when I did go to the doctors, even like a couple of years ago, I'd go, and if they say, "Oh, we need to weigh you for whatever reason," I'd say, "Oh, actually, I've got a history of an eating disorder, and I would prefer if it was a blind weigh-in, please." And they'd say, "Oh, that's fine." And I remember feeling like that little bit of, am I always going to have to do this? Am I always going to feel, anxious around knowing what that number is and the consequence of what that might be? And I basically, I don't know, I think I knew deep down at those moments that it was not the right time. And I think that's right. I think 100% in those couple of years ago, I was not. I can think around that time I was quitting Quasi, or either about to or in the process of, and that was not the right time for me. I still was very much living with a brain that was wired around fixation on things surrounding weight, food, all that kind of stuff. So to cut a long story short, what I'm trying to say is that I basically completely disengaged with my weight for about 6 or 7 years. Completely. I just didn't see it. Didn't know the number, didn't see it. And that seed of doubt, that seed of kind of concern that I'm talking about was just the worry that, is this a thing? Is this that I'm never going to be able to see? Yes, I'm neurally, I'd heard, oh, you can neurally rewire it by not engaging in it. And I thought, well, that sounds great, but is it actually true? Or am I just going to spend the rest of my life having to kind of avoid seeing it? And I actually now, 2 years after that time, have had an experience, and it was a few months ago that it happened, and I wanted to kind of give it some time and see, has anything happened? Has it triggered anything? Has it brought anything at all? And it hasn't. And the experience was that I really wanted to join the University Officer Training Corps, which, for anyone who doesn't know, it's kind of, it is the army, but it's also like just the fun side of it. Like, you have to do a lot of learning. They do a lot of adventurous activities, a lot of mountaineering, scuba diving, climbing. Like, it's always been something that's intrigued me. And I thought, now this would be a brilliant opportunity, fully recovered, living my life, having a great time. Went along to the taste day. Everyone was so friendly. I felt like they were all very my kind of person, you know, outdoorsy, just ready to jump into life and do stuff. And I was really excited about it. And part of the process that you have to go through, they do all sorts of different health checks and everything. And there's so much paperwork, it's ridiculous. But one of the things they do is they have to weigh you. And it was one of those moments where afterwards I came out of the room having been weighed, and they weigh you and then they say the thing and then they tell. And I kind of walked out the room to go, and it suddenly hit me. I was like, oh my God, that wasn't a deal. It didn't mean anything. Like, I stood in the queue chatting to the other people, went in, and it only hit me afterwards when I was like, hell yeah, that absolutely meant nothing at all. Like, it was just a number. Like, someone had just said a random number and it just wafted over. It didn't mean anything. And I was going to share it immediately. I was like, oh my God, it's worked. This thing that I wasn't sure of, it's actually worked. But I thought, no, I'll let it sit. I'll just see. I'll see if anything comes up from it. And it hasn't. Nothing at all. In fact, I don't actually think I can remember what the number was. How amazing. I had a brain which was so fixated on it, so fixated on what that number was in my eating disorder. And I spent all those years completely disengaging with it, with a tiny kind of worry of, oh, am I always going to have to do this? Am I always going to have to avoid? And basically what I'm trying to share with you is that you can neurally rewire that obsession with weight, the number, all those things, simply by completely and utterly avoiding it. Completely and utterly disengaging it. Which, when I think about what neural rewiring is, it's teaching your brain through your actions what's important, what's new. It's teaching through action. And my actions were paying zero attention at all to weight. And the outcome of that is my brain goes, weight is irrelevant and unimportant. We don't need that information. So just as a bit like when you are, I don't know, someone's talking to you about a subject and you're not interested. Like, bless him, I love him to pieces, dearest Andrew, but his job, he's an engineer, and I really hate maths. And sometimes he talks to me about things and I really try and listen, but it just sort of just goes over, just goes past. I can't keep my brain focused on it. I'm like, yeah, I'm listening. I said, beams, yeah, beams. And then I'm like, oh, when is Crufts? When am I going to Crufts? And I'm like, oh no, beams, thinking about that. It's the same. My brain has literally gone, oh, this information is irrelevant to me. I will not hold on to it or register it in any way, shape or form. And that is the most empowering and joyous thing, because it shows that it works. And I think often overthinking neural rewiring is a real stumbling block, I think, for recovery. I definitely did it, worrying, but is this the best thing I could be doing for neural rewiring? Is this am I doing it? And I think I wanted to share this to show that actually, simply by completely disengaging with stuff, you can neurally rewire. And I personally believe, in my opinion, that I have more successfully rewired this by completely disengaging it with it than I would have done if I had weighed myself every, couple of weeks to watch the number go up and to get okay with that number being bigger. Like, I think that would have still fed into my brain of, this is important, this information is important. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. And yeah, it's bloody amazing. Neural rewiring is absolutely incredible. Like, our brains are amazing, absolutely amazing. You can quite literally teach your brain new things through what you choose to do. You can change what your brain does and thinks as, and the habits that are there simply by changing what you do. You know, like neural plasticity is fascinating. And this is a very real world application of that, and one that I wanted to share. So yeah. On a side note, in relation to where that context was, I wasn't able to get involved in the officer training corps, unfortunately, because on my like second what's it called, like medical, the second stage of the medical thing, they kind of go through all your past records, and they brought up, you know, and if you've had any eating disorder or restrictive eating disorder, it's a complete no, which felt really unfair because I'm fully recovered, and that was a real bummer, and it felt annoying, and I was disappointed, but that's life. And yeah, I've got stuck into other societies, and there's always other opportunities. But yeah, I just wanted to add that on there as well. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm going to go. Have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I hope this has been helpful. Any questions that you've got that you'd like me to answer, post them, comment. See, I'm such a YouTuber. Comment below. One day I'm going to start saying like and subscribe. Probably not at all. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go, and I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.